What's up, everybody? It is Bailey with Go Adventure, and I'm still trying to say Go Adventure Trek. I'm not even used to the rebrand yet. This video, real quick, which is safer, soft shackles or your standard steel bow shackles? Let's get right into it. If you've spent any time at all on a Facebook page that has anything to do with either the crush tracks, soft-roading, off-roading in general, you're always going to hear, especially as of recent, that one of these guys is your safest bet regardless of the situation. That's the whole point of me making this video, is I'm here to tell you that these are not always the safer option. They are a great option, but there are some cases where this guy is your safest bet. Let's jump right into those and talk about the differences. What is going to be the main difference between your soft shackle and your typical steel bow shackle? Aside from material, strength is going to be about the same. A lot of the times these are going to be just a hair stronger. For example, this is the highest rated steel bow shackle I have. This is a Kurt bow shackle. Has a working load limit of 6.5 tons, while the Factor 55 soft shackle I have here has a working load limit of 3.5 tons, which is 7,800 pounds. It has a maximum brake strength of 17.6 tons though. So that comes in handy here in a little bit. So in this case here, the Kurt shackle does have a higher working load limit. It doesn't disclose the safety factor, the minimum brake, nothing like that. So it's hard to say. But this is the highest rated one I have. I have a couple Rhino USA ones in my bag that are only rated to 4 3/4, which are still technically stronger than this. But the amount of force you have to apply to break one of these is insane. Same thing with one of these. Don't ever exceed your working load limits, obviously, but strength is going to be about the same. This one has like a ton or two more. And then this one here from Bubba Rope, this is their Gator Jaw. This one just has a brake strength of 47,000 pounds. It doesn't give us a working load limit, which is kind of sketchy. But anyways, they're about equal in strength depending on which kind you get, what size you get. The half-inch ones I have on the front of my car are only good for like 2 tons. So this is obviously going to be stronger. But what makes these so safe in the eyes of everybody compared to these guys? And the main thing is people think, oh, it's a soft shackle. If it goes flying, I'd rather get hit with one of these guys than one of these. But the truth of the matter is if you have this connected in a manner that is not appropriate with its use, it becomes more dangerous than if you were to just use one of these. These are only dangerous when they go flying. Same thing with these. They're only dangerous when they go flying. So if you're using these properly and they're connected to the correct mounting points and everything like that, neither one of these options are going to go flying. Something else will fail before one of these will. I promise you that. So the big differences that you're going to see between these two, the way you can mount them is going to, for the most part, be on these guys, and then there's a couple things that these aren't able to mount to just due to either frictional properties or the fact that steel is harder than the accessory that you're connecting it to. The big thing with synthetic ropes is you need to keep them from getting cut. So like this right here would be completely appropriate, but if you have it at a sharp 90, like so, on a hard surface, you run the risk of damaging these internal fibers, causing this to fail. And if this fails, whatever it's attached to is going to go flying. So that's in a case where this would actually be more dangerous than one of these, even though these are seen as being safer. I like these. They're so much easier to use, just because you can run it through whatever you need to run it through, pull it over its knot, pull it tight, and then you bring it up and you go to town. That's it. Same thing with this one. This one uses a little rubber stopper instead. But same concept. They're very easy to work with, and the whole reason I bought them actually stems back to my tree saver strap and my winch hook not playing friendly with each other. The tree saver strap loops were too big to go through the winch hook, so then I'd put it on one of these 3/4 bow shackles, and then I couldn't get my hook all the way around the 3/4 bow shackle, either pin or bow side. So that's why I switched to the Factor 55 Flat Link XTV, which is a UTV sized flat link winch hook, and so now it plays with these and these all the same. But I'll still end up using this because it's easier to use. So let's jump into interfacing really quick, and that is going to be the biggest difference when it comes to safety, is if you're properly interfaced to the correct equipment. These can interface to almost everything that these can interface with, and vice versa. There's a couple exceptions. So let's jump into those right now. Interfacing is just connecting one piece of equipment to another within a recovery system. One of the examples of a product that can interface between both of them is this guy here. This is the Factor 55 HitchLink 2.0. I picked this up in Utah while I was out there talking to him. It interfaces with both a steel shackle and a soft shackle because it has the proper radius on the inside of the eye right here that protects the fibers in the soft shackle from getting cut, but is still safe to use with a bow shackle. So this is an example of a product that interfaces with both soft and hard shackles. Here's an example of something that doesn't interface with both, and that's going to be the steel Kurt adapter that I used to have on the car. This guy here has gnarly sharp edges on the inside. These are straight 90 degrees. You will cut into one of these if you use it. So steel only if you have sharp edges like that. Could I go in there and smooth them down? Potentially. I can't say I'd want to spend the time. So there's an example. You can only use these with that. Another example of steel only interfacing is going to be this old school snatch block here. I don't know what they call it, split type. It's just, this is a snatch block. It's really, I probably shouldn't even use this with synthetic line. It has kind of a rough edge there as well. But this hole here, it's got sharp 90-degree edges on it. That is going to be something that you don't want to use a soft shackle with. You're just going to end up tearing into this eventually, potentially sending this flying right back towards you or whoever you're pulling out. So when it comes to these standard snatch blocks, stick with the steel. It's safer. It may not, it's a lot of metal, but it's safer. So as long as whatever this is tied to is secure, you'll never have this come flying through your windshield. But it's safer to run steel with steel than steel with a synthetic shackle. Another one that only interfaces with synthetic or soft shackles is going to be this guy here. This is the Factor 55 RRP XTV. This is a UTV sized winch pulley with their patented little silicone fingers that keep your synthetic winch line in there. These are synthetic only across the board, synthetic soft shackles and synthetic winch line. This doesn't even fit in here, and that would be really dumb. You'd destroy this pretty little aluminum ring. But they function flawlessly with the Factor 55 soft shackles. You just run it through like so. Pull it over your knot, hook it around, loop it through your tree saver, whatever you gotta do, pull it tight, and then that's all it's to it. And then it has Teflon built in, so that sucker just spins and spins and spins. And they just posted a video on their Instagram a little while back that showcases this exact one that I filmed a while back in action, so you can kind of get a view of that. But this guy here, synthetic only, synthetic winch line only. You wouldn't use steel on this. These are designed to rotate on a soft shackle. So another one that is kind of hit or miss, depending on how you view the situation, is these stupid things. Your OEM threaded tow eye. If you've seen my Subaru cross-stroke recovery basics video, the first one, I'm working on the other ones, but if you've seen the first one, I mentioned how these are not recovery points, and I'm going to stick with that. These are good for towing only. So if you're just doing a tow, lighter forces, you're just slow pulling somebody out. Either one of these is a good combination, and this would make this relatively safe to use because you're not, doing a kinetic pull on it, you're not yanking on it. So this shouldn't go flying, but I would not use this for any kind of recovery, like legit recovery where you're doing kinetic pulls, high strength pulls with a winch, etc. But with this one, it kind of has somewhat of a rounded edge in it, but it was just punched. There's no, it wasn't cut. It was either molded or punched, judging by the manufacturing marks on the inside. I'm going to say it was punched. This would interface better with one of these, but being the devil's advocate, if you screw up and you use this improperly, and you rip it out and send it flying, I would rather have this pair flying through the air than this pair flying through the air. So as much as I hate these things, you know, they do have a small use. Don't leave them threaded in all the time. But if you have to use it, you could probably get away with both, because you shouldn't be putting enough force on either one of these components to cause damage to either one of them. And if you are, stop, you're doing something wrong. Another example of something that I would not use a soft shackle on is the front points that are underneath the car that I showcased in my video also. Those are a very sharp sheet metal. It's like two pieces of sheet metal stamped together. I would not want to run these through. It's no different than running it through this here. It's just going to pull on it real hard and at a sharp 90. So if that doesn't kind of showcase it there, I wouldn't do that. That would be a situation where, as I showed in my other video, stick to steel. These are way more durable in that regard. So it is safer to use steel. So that's basically the big thing I'm trying to get on this entire video across, is these are not always safer. Everybody likes to say these are always safer. Use them in every situation you can. It's not always the case. They each have their purpose. Hopefully somebody learned something from this video and that I didn't waste my time filming it. Anyways, this is Bailey with Go Adventure. As always, go get stuck, go have fun, and be safe. See you guys next time.